showman to project images onto a white backdrop. But imagine what that must have been like. You're sitting in a darkened tent. Suddenly, the white backdrop is revealed and a single image appears. But when seen in the right order, in the right light, and at the right speed, those images seem to come to life to create a magical new world. For the last 100 years. And in that time, the studio has turned out some of the most memorable film moments in Hollywood history!
Hold on to your butts.
Everyone, what Laura told you is true. My name is Eric, and we are here to demonstrate how the basic concept of the filmmaking process has always remained the same, to make you, the audience, believe that everything that you see is real.
Today, filmmakers have more tools than ever before. High-tech cameras, super fast computers, but they still rely on a category of effects so distinctive, they are known as special.
And the oldest type of special effects are called practical effects, which are shot on set in front of a camera. And our first example of practical effects are models. Universal's 1933 film, The Mummy, made use of miniature effects, including scale models, like that one you see there in its title sequence. Now you can tell that's a model because we know that the real pyramids don't have giant letters on them. Universal relaunched The Mummy, and believe it or not, that Sphinx that you see right there is this Sphinx model that you see right here. This is the actual model that was used in the making of that film. And the attention to detail is absolutely incredible. I think Laura would agree that models are still a great way to fool the camera.
I do agree. Now, another filmmaking technique that also has the ability to fool the camera is a glass mat. In the terrifying film The Birds, the brilliant Alfred Hitchcock used matte paintings to create the eerie look he wanted to achieve for the town of Bodega Bay. Take a look at the side screens. In this literal bird's eye view of the town, only two things were real: the parking lot and the fire. Everything else was painted onto a glass to create a mat and then slid into place. Finally, we incorporated the bridge of the birds to complete the effect.
All very cool stuff. So we've shown you two different types of practical effects: models and the glass mat.
So we have another type of effects that don't involve props, but people. Practical stunts.
Did somebody say stunts?
Ladies and gentlemen, our special effects show Stunt Department!
Yeah! Really cool. Hey, Laura.
Yeah?
How come we didn't get a fancy entrance like that?
Well, Eric, we're wearing really fancy pants.
Touche.
Hey, Alex, you didn't repel from the sky. Do you have a fancy entrance?
Yeah, show what you got.
Ooh, Alex, everybody! Now, you might not recognize their faces, but you have seen them in countless television shows and movies, sometimes doubling for your favorite celebrities. Let's meet them now. Over here we have Brady. There with that fancy flipboard is Alex, and this is our stunt coordinator, Jason. Welcome, guys. Now, Jason, would you agree that stunt performers almost always double for actors if ever there's a fight sequence involved?
Absolutely. Actors don't like getting kicked in the face.
Kicked in the face?
Yeah, like so. And he's ready for take 2.
Can you break that down for me, technically speaking?
Sure. Alex is gonna stand here, and I get to kick him in the face.
And that is how it's done. Why don't you guys go ahead and get set up? Now, you see, folks, when staging a fight, the art of illusion is very important. The moves need to look realistic enough to fool the camera, but without anyone getting hurt. And that is the performer's job to make look believable. I'm gonna set the scene for you. Downtown, dark alley, exterior, dead of night. A couple of nefarious characters are just lurking about. Ready and action. Now, needless to say, this is not something that any of our friends out there should attempt to do at home, right?
Yes, that is correct.
Oh. Thanks, guys. We'll see them just a bit later. Don't forget to recycle. Now, did you happen to notice the sound effects that were added to that scene? The dynamic punches and the dumpster hits? We actually have a filmmaking term for incorporating those type of effects. Right, Eric?
Absolutely. It's called Foley. Now, perhaps some of you have heard the term Foley before. It's the process of adding sounds to films after they've been shot. But how familiar are you with its origins? Jack Foley wore many hats. He's a writer, he's a director, he's even a stunt double. But it was when he began producing sound effects for Universal Studios in the early 20s that he truly began to make a name for himself. Jack Foley worked here on the lot for over 30 years on Soundstage 10. He would recreate sounds on the stage, or he would go out and get them. In the earliest days, he would use a technique called direct-to-picture, in which he would add sound effects to finished films all in one take. If he messed up even once, he would have to start all over from the very beginning. To help us imagine what that must have been like, please welcome our first volunteers.
I'd like you to meet the Machette family from Argentina.
All the way from Argentina. Yeah, thank you so much for helping us out, guys. Now, they are going to demonstrate how these ordinary items can be repurposed to sound like something completely different than what you guys might think. For example, this water bottle can be used to articulate the sound of bones breaking. Check it out. It's pretty cool, right? And you kids can try that at home with the bottle. Don't break your bones. Okay? Alright guys, so just like Jack Foley, you're going to add sound effects to a clip. But first, let's show you guys the clip. We're going to show you a split screen. On one side is going to be the hit comedy Identity Thief with Melissa McCarthy and Jason Bateman. On the other side of the screen, you're going to see Universal's Foley artists hard at work. Now I have a plan. Looks pretty easy, right? Not so much. Now let's talk about the tools that are up here on the stage. Right here we have a crash box. This is a wooden box that's filled with pots and pans. This is going to sound like the bookshelf when Jason Bateman hits it. Then it's going to sound like the lamp that he kicks when he falls over the top of the sofa. Over here we have some rolled up paper. We're going to use this to make it sound like bodies are hitting the ground. We have boxing gloves over here. This will be for the throat punch and for the slaps on the face. And then at the very end, Mom, you actually have this cowbell and a spoon. That's for the moment where the panini maker hits her in the shoulder, and then we have these handcuffs. So this is where we get crazy. These handcuffs are going to sound like handcuffs. So all right, are you guys ready to do this? All right, take your places. If you're ready up in the booth, let's roll sound, speed, and action. Not bad, give them a round of applause. Well done, guys. Come on over here with me. Now, you guys probably noticed that the clip seemed kind of empty, right? There was no music, there was no dialogue, and of course, there was no sound effects. Well, that was intentional. Family, go ahead and stand right here. Well, now we're going to play back that clip, but we're going to incorporate their newly recorded sound effects, and we'll see how they did. Let's take a look at the side screens.
Get over here and give me your wrist. Okay? Now, I have a plan.
Not bad, give them a round of applause. Well done, you guys feeling good. You guys are practically professionals.
Now that was a fun comedy, and Universal has produced great films in every genre. However, the studio really made its mark with some of the industry's most memorable horror films. Let's take a look. Scary stuff, and all created with the use of some special horror effects. Now, lurking in the shadows behind me are the stars of our Universal horror family, our classic monsters. We have maquettes of Dracula, Chucky and his bride. There's Michael Myers, Imhotep the Mummy, Phantom of the Opera, and Mother Bates from Psycho, the perfect setting for a horror demonstration starring our next volunteer.
Absolutely, all the way from Houston, everyone say hi, Courtney.
Hi, Courtney. Now, Courtney here was selected for her very impressive scream. So, imagine you're staying at the Bates Motel. You just want to take a shower, but the shower is interrupted by Norman Bates himself. How do you scream?
She will die adorably.
Now, as you noticed earlier, our stunt performers have a very high threshold for pain. My question is, do you?
Well, do you?
Because this next sequence involves movie blood. Does anyone out there know what Alfred Hitchcock used for movie blood in his classic film Psycho? Shout out your answers. What do you think? Chocolate syrup.
That's
It's
right.
correct.
The
and
girl
very
got ready in the front
adorable.
row. She got it right. That's right. They used chocolate syrup because Psycho was a black and white film, so it didn't matter what color the blood was back then. But nowadays, movie blood has to be much more realistic.
Thank you for giving us a hand.
Literally. All right, Courtney, just go ahead and put your right hand out there. Now, it's at this moment where I need to remind the kids, please do not try this at home.
Try it at a friend's house.
There you go. Okay. Here we go. And
All right, we wind up.
Oh, we're not going to use a machete. Okay.
I'm gonna use
All
a
right.
machete. It's crazy. I'm gonna use this knife. It's much sharper. All right, put that hand back. Let's take a look at the side screens. There we go. That's your arm, but not for long. You're gonna scream on the count of 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. knife. We have a fake blade here, a cutout that fits right over her arm, and this handle has a fake bulb here that's filled with movie blood that's in there somewhere.
It's fantastic.
Yes, we got a little on the floor as well.
You know what? I got actually some blood on my fancy pants.
The fancy pants?
Yeah, I gotta go backstage.
Oh no. Okay, well, let me just clean up the crime scene here, make sure none of our stunt people trip on that blood. All right, we are all clean. And you know what? We talked about a photo opportunity, didn't we? So let's get away from the crime scene. That's quite a mess. But I do want to take your beautiful picture because you are not a mess. So I'm going to have you stand here in front of this circle with a good light. And actually, is this set up to take a photo? Do we just do that? I don't want to read your text messages or anything. Okay, then you should probably call that person back. Yeah. I'm just kidding. Okay, so we're gonna stand here and then strike like a monster pose. On the count of 3, say monster, and we'll give you a souvenir to take back to Houston. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh, Courtney, Michael Myers, no! Back to the graveyard, Michael Myers. Here you go. I'm so sorry. You should have seen the look on your face. Oh wait, you can! It's in there somewhere. I'm a little bit in the way, and I'm sorry. But how about a hand for Courtney, everybody? You got some more pictures to take home on there as well. Such a good sport. Now, we've talked a lot about practical effects. Let's switch gears to visual effects. Things done inside a computer. Here to demonstrate mocap or motion capture. Welcome back my co-host, Eric! Well, looking good, Eric.
Stay in school, kids.
Can we bring up the perimeter sensors, please? Now see, these markers reflect light back to sensors and into a computer that captures their movement. Can we see the capture up on the side screens? Yeah. Now each marker appears here as a dot. All right, Eric, why don't you start with a T-pose? Just extend your arms out to the side. Yeah, we always start with a T-pose to indicate the beginning of a T. That way when we're at... What are you doing?
I miss my fancy pants.
Oh, we'll get you back in them soon enough. Why don't you touch your nose with your left hand? Yep, now you're right. Back and forth, just like that. We're doing a series of simple movements to calibrate the system. Now when you're done, why don't you go back to neutral? Just put your arms to the side. And we're doing some jumping jacks and running in place.
Okay.
Now, it might not look like much now, but using these movements, animators can change the aspect ratio, build digital skeletons, add wireframing, and then finally skins. This way we can take Eric's movements and turn him into anything. In this case, he's a cuddly, friendly teddy bear.
Teddy bear?
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of cool, right?
Not just any teddy bear, you're the star of Universal's TED!
Oh, freaking sweet.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Outside the nightclub, waiting to get in, you just gotta dance.
All right, yeah. Oh, it's more where that came from, Laura. Ready? Check it out, ready? Oh, yeah.
Your good
Oh, boy.
side.
Here we go for the ladies.
Oh.
Ooh. Yeah. Get it.
Kind of like it's here with us right now. In fact, Ted, what do you think about the show so far?
That's why I watch these things. It's like a cool behind the scenes thing that you wouldn't know.
Thunder Buddies, Ted!
Thunder Buddies for life.
How about a hand for Eric and Ted? Now, fun fact, Seth MacFarlane actually wore a modified mocap suit so that he could act and direct at the same time. Let's take a look at the genius behind Ted in action.
We were able to do Ted in a completely lifelike way and to use technology in a way that it really hasn't been used to date. What that technology does so well is it takes fantastical characters and makes them as realistic in movement as possible.
Some pretty cool stuff. Now, as far as technology has come with visual effects and CGI, some things just look better when they're real, like fire. Take a look up at our side screens to see some classic fire stunts done in our Universal films. One of the most exciting and most dangerous aspects of filmmaking is undoubtedly a fire stunt. We're going to welcome back our top-notch stunt team to show us how they execute a live fire burn. Please welcome the man of the hour who will be set on fire there in the middle. It's Brady. He is being assisted by safeties Jason and Alex. You might be thinking to yourself, Brady is very confused about where to apply hair gel. This is not the case. This is a protective fire gel he's applying to all of his exposed areas. You might know from experience how unpleasant it can feel to miss a spot while wearing sunscreen. Now imagine what it would feel like to miss a spot while on fire. Ooh. Now he is standing on our fire prep blanket, and this is where the fuel will be applied. We have our safety standing by in case of premature ignition.
Extinguisher 1, check.
First extinguisher check.
Extinguisher 2, check.
Copy that.
Excuse me, Laura. We're ready for fueling.
Great.
Alex, you ready? Brady, you ready? Fueling.
Now, upon the completion of the shot, he will move over to the fire blanket to be extinguished. At this point, we'll be looking toward him for a thumbs up. If we see a thumbs down, well, this is a sign we need to get the medical team involved. Now, as they're doing the meticulous fueling process, I want to take this time to remind you, these are trained professionals. They're using highly special equipment, wardrobes and gels. This is not something anyone out there should ever attempt to recreate on their own. This happens to be Brady's 25th burn. He will be going for a time today of 8 to 10 seconds. Also want to take this time to remind you to please remain seated for the entire duration of this stunt. Go ahead and set our lights and set our timer to 0. And then whenever you gentlemen are ready.
Alex, you ready?
Ready.
Brady, you ready? Ready.
Ready and action.
Lighting. You're lit.
He's okay! And this is for investment time. 22.16 seconds on tape. 1 mile down first, Hunter Garden. Stunt coordinator Jason, safety Alex, and the man on fire, Brady. Well, he's definitely out now. Boy, it's hard to top that. But for our next demonstration, we are going to create a scene that is truly out of this world. With the help of our next 2 volunteers, Matt and Lucy, come on over. Oh yes, Miss Lucy, you too. All right, come on down. Now, Matt, if you haven't figured out by now, you will be playing the part of an astronaut in a science fiction scene. Let's make sure we get Lucy too. Here she comes. Come on, we need you. Yes, because you and I are gonna have some fun. Well, Matt, I send you off to Jason to get your helmet. So follow Jason over here, and Miss Lucy, I'm gonna have you stand on this green star right here. We're gonna have a bit of fun. Yeah, I want you to turn this way so I can see your pretty face. There we go. Because Miss Lucy, do I have a surprise for you. Coming in here is our Fisher flying rig. It's a computer-controlled cable system we use to create the illusion of flight. It sounds complicated, but don't worry. There's an app for that. You will be controlling it. It's kind of like being in charge of the remote control. So I'll give you a little tutorial. I have it disabled now. So this grid here, that will bring him up and down that green line. And then this purple grid will control his movements. And you will be totally in control, but I will be here to coach you along, so don't worry. So I'm just gonna get this off my hand and put this on your hand. Stick here, yep, right in the handle back there. Hang tight with that. I'm just gonna check in with Matt. Does he have any fear of heights or anything we should know about? No? All right, well this will be fun. It'll be a breeze. Great. All right, here is Matt. Hi, Matt. Do you have any final words for your beautiful lady? Oh, I think it says, I love you. It's like your thing, right? And what's that? What? Oh, he said after this, you get to go shoe shopping in Beverly Hills. Yeah. Oh, he says money is no object. Hashtag jealous. Now, finally, we need to composite the scene. So we're gonna use rear projection to get our backplate image and get Matt up there in space. Perfect.
All right, Miss Lucy, now put your finger on the green lever here, and whenever you're ready, take him right on up, just like that. Perfect, so take him right on up. There you go, yeah. Okay, shoulders back, chin up. Yep, very natural, right? Okay, so now we're gonna use this purple grid here, so put your finger here to move him forward. So pull that up to move him, bring him forward, just like that, there he goes. And now when I tell you, you're gonna give a big salute to the space station. Oh no, not quite yet. Okay, so pull that back down. We're just gonna reset back to 1, pull it all the way back down. I'm gonna check, oh, don't touch the cables, Yeah. Shoulders back, chin up, there we go. It's okay, I got you. There we go. Still very natural. All right, when you're ready, just pull it back up again. So yeah, pull it back up whenever you're ready. Oh, did you press something else? Okay, it's okay. Well, just, you got this. I'm gonna make sure that he gets down safely. Okay, here he comes. This Lucy's in control. Okay, keep controlling him, because you gotta press something. We're just gonna get him down. Oh, don't touch the cables, Yeah, you're still touching him. Okay, that's okay. I got you, you're down, you're safe. How about a hand for Matt? Everybody, Matt in space. Okay. Oh, she's drunk with power. Okay, I've never actually taken this away from someone before. We're gonna throw power up to the booth. They got control of the booth, and he's fine. He's coming in for a landing. He's down. He's great. He's still moving. Okay, that's okay. We're gonna get you stay there, Miss Lucy. Oh goodness, Matt. I think somebody didn't go to space camp, huh? Get this helmet off of you. Why don't you give your lady a